Now this is a Madness Faith build, so we got a lot of points in Faith, and mainly just Faith. You can honestly go into many of the different spells and incantations in the game, but we're going full on Madness to finally showcase a bunch of the stuff here. It's actually been nerfed and also slightly buffed, both for defense against it as well as offense from it, so... Now this used to be a whole lot stronger, but that doesn't mean it's not strong right now, because if you see here, we can basically stagger enemies and destroy their health bars quite easily. The only thing you need to watch out for is that Madness bar on your screen, because if it reaches the end, you will take some damage from Madness. You won't take a lot of damage, which is great because they've nerfed that, but you can also do things like this, like the Frenzied Burst, which is kind of like a giant laser that you just shoot off into the distance. It works against most enemies and it deals a good amount of damage. Like it feels really fun to use it because it feels like I'm just sniping them with some like phase rifle or something. We also got the Ancient Dragon Lightning on this build, which is something that people have been making videos on recently. That's quite strong. I don't particularly like it that much, but I use it there as a secondary kind of thing. With the weapon here, we have the Coated Sword, which is also maybe not the greatest weapon. It's something we're not actually going to use unless we absolutely need it, because I don't know if you noticed, but for when we're using these spells, we're only actually using 2 finger seals in both our left hand and our right hand. And we're kind of just using the spells in like that, because the 2 finger seals, the one has the higher incantation scaling, so our incantations do a lot of damage, and the other one buffs the madness spells that we're doing, so it makes the madness spells like a whole lot stronger. So we're basically getting a huge increase to our spell damage from this way. And this is what Madness does when you kind of fill up your bar there. You can see it does about like what, 15-20% of your health there. Now this build is entirely focused on using these spells, or these incantations actually, you know, just the Madness general damage boost up as much as you can. It comes with high risk, but it also comes with high reward, where you can do a lot of damage, but there are a lot of weaknesses that you need to be careful of, like you can get stopped or staggered or stunned, or you have Madness take effect on you. So the first seal that we're using here is the Frenzied Flame seal. This one doesn't require anything. This one increases all of your Frenzied Flame incantations, right? And with our stats, we have just enough vigor as well as mind endurance, and then the rest of our points into faith entirely. For our second seal, this is the Erdtree seal. This is the one we're casting our spells from. This one has the highest incantation scaling because it scales with faith. It's going to have the highest damage output when you're using your spells using this weapon's attacks. The only reason why we had the Frenzied Seal in the main hand is there because we wanted to swap it with the Coated Sword when we want to use the Coated Sword, which is obviously for when we want to get some melee damage or use the Unblockable Blade. You can honestly put any other weapon in here that you feel scales good for you. You just have to make sure when you're using this build, all the attacks you're using are from the Erdtree Seal, not the Frenzied Flame one. These are the armor pieces I'm wearing in case you're interested on the set look. Our first talisman makes us use less FP for our spells, but reduces our maximum HP. We have enhanced charge spells and skills, which most of these incantations are charged, so it's going to buff those. Greatly increases the potency of incantations, which is obviously for all our incantations. And then we have the minor version, the raised potency of incantations, because these two stack, which is fantastic. For our Wondrous Physic, we have temporarily boosts faith, as well as eliminates all FP consumption for a short time. Looking at our spells here, we have Unendurable Frenzy. This is the one you're going to be using with the Cerulean Flask. That's going to reduce your FP cost to nothing, so you can just unload this as much as you can. The second one is Frenzied Burst, which is the laser beam that you saw us doing quite a lot there. You can see all the stats and everything you need required to use this. We have the Flame of Frenzy, which is kind of like a shorter version of the Unendurable one, where it's just like eye vomit onto people, which is fantastic. Then we have Scarlet Aeonia, which is basically from Millennia, as you can recognize over here. I find it quite interesting to use. And then we have the Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike, which, if used in the right way, can be devastating, but I find it very unpredictable because sometimes you gotta hope for the lasers to be, or like the lightning strikes to be in like multiple times in the same place, where it feels a little bit inconsistent, but it can also be quite strong in, like, you know, the right situation. I hope you guys enjoyed this build, and thank you so much for watching.